Digimon World 3 is the third installation of the Digimon World series released by Bandai in 2002. Currently, the world record time for the any-person category is 8 hours and 49 minutes. The projected world record time within the next couple of months is believed to be low 8 hours or high 7 hours. Though there are no game-breaking glitches that have been currently found, one remains within our radar, even though the general consensus of the Digimon speedrunning community believes this glitch is useless for a speedrunning strategy. Today, I will be explaining the so-called Renamon Glitch and the underlying mechanics behind it. Welcome to Digimon World 3. The Renamon Glitch was first observed by Rydelith, a runner of DMW3. A canonical strategy to speedrunning this game requires the runner solely trains one Digimon and use the other two as opportunities to revive the main Digimon upon his death. During Rydelith's run, his main Digimon, Kyukimon, dies to Suijimon, the water god. Suijimon does insane amounts of damage and arguably does the most damage within the game. Using the Kodamon strat, we typically switch to Renamon upon Kyukimon's death and use a life disc to restore Kyukimon. As you see here, Renamon gets hit for over 123,000 damage. This damage is virtually impossible when you encounter this boss when you're playing this game casually. Unexpectedly, Renamon's avatar performs the death animation. However, her health bar still remains full, and her blast gauge is basically 99.99%. Later on, during the Galacticmon fight, we again see Renamon with what seems to be infinite health. After Heat Cutter, Renamon is still alive. Before I go into how this may occur, first we must discuss a little bit of computer science. I won't go too much in depth with the fundamentals of bits and how memory is stored, but it's important to mention how integers are stored in memory. Two ways to portray integers are through its signed form and unsigned form. You can think of signed integers as what we normally think of, with plus and minus signs, like -3 and +3. While the unsigned integers, you can think of these as whole numbers, like 0 to +infinity. Though this may not be the most accurate definition of unsigned integers, for the purpose of this explanation, I believe this will suffice. The precision of an integer value is determined by 2 to the n values, where n is the number of bits that the variable is encoded with. Obviously, the higher the value, the more memory that is required for a particular variable to be stored. For signed integers, we can represent values from -2 to the n minus 1, 2 to the n minus 1, all of that minus 1. The -1 basically just compensates for the value of 0, and this pertains to this -1. For unsigned integers, we represent their existence from the range of 0 to 2 to the n minus 1. Earlier games like Pac-Man encodes level values in memory with 8 bits as an unsigned integer, aka 0 to 2 to the 8 minus 1, or 0 to 255. If one were to approach the 256th level of Pac-Man, a software bug will occur where your stage will look something like this. This is a case of a phenomenon called integer overflow, where we increment a value that is higher than what can be represented in memory. In the Renamon Glitch case, however, we experience the opposite phenomenon, integer underflow. Empirically, I've determined that the health in Digimon World 3 is stored as a short signed integer, where integers are encoded with 16 bits that provide us with 2 to the 16th values. This gives us an integer representation range of -2 to the 15 to 2 to the 15 minus 1, or we can just say -32,768 to +32,767. Here, I programmed a small simulation of how the Renamon Glitch might work. I'll go through the code and highlight the relevant information that I believe is important. There are some other code that you don't really need to worry about, it's there just to get the program started. First, we want to define Renamon's current health and maximum health as short signed integers. We'll put somewhat random HP values here that is expected for a level 1 Digimon in Digimon World 3. The value here really doesn't matter too much, since the damage you will take from late game Digimon will make your health differential pretty much negligible. Next, I will define the damage rolls as 3 regular integer values, one of which is 25,000, a relatively small damage value that we may expect from late game Digimon that will hit your lower level Digimon for. The others are 65,000 and 123,000 damage, larger damage values that we may expect from Galacticmon or from Suijinmon in the Elemental Gods fights respectively. In the main program, we first show Renamon's original health before we apply the damage. We then allow Renamon to get hit with the small damage roll. The health here should be still about negative 25,000 HP, which is still within the range of what we store the integers as. If you remember, this is within the range of negative 32,768 to 32,767. The values are asymmetric here due to the inclusion of 0. We then correct this value back to 0 if the health is below 0. After this portion of the simulation, we reset the value of his health back to the maximum health and then apply the large damage roll. Here the value should be 100 minus 65,000, or exactly negative 64,900, a value which is forbidden in that variable's memory. When this instance of integer underflow exists, the computer will perform the operation until the value reaches the lower limit and then sets the value to the highest value allowed, which in this case is 32,767, and then continues to perform the operation. After all of this arithmetic, you should actually get this by hand. When I did it, I got about a value of 634, but since I didn't mind my zeros, I believe my number was off by a couple. Obviously, Bandai didn't attempt to correct your health if your current health is higher than your maximum health, since damage is supposed to basically push your health away or lower than your maximum health. The final simulation is performed with the damage roll seen by Suijinmon. The math is pretty much similar, but we'll just look at the values when we run the simulation. The program is then compiled and executed. Going through the simulation, when Renamon is hit with a smaller damage roll that keeps us within the range that the game allows for, we are allowed to correct our health to 0, as you see here. But in the other cases, since the health resets to a value higher than the maximum health, we cannot perform the correction, and thus we are still alive. 636, which is higher than 100, which is our maximum health. Thus we get the glitch. And then after we get hit with the larger damage roll, our effective health is 8,172, and this is not corrected. And thus we get the glitch. For more speed runs and glitch hunting of Digimon World 3 and other Digimon World games, please give me a follow at my Twitch page, www.twitch.tv/khearts. You can also check out other awesome Digimon World runners found in the leaderboards in the description below. Thank you, and have a nice one.